Kira Steger worked as a store clerk at a clothing shop in the Mall of America. She loved her job so much that she never missed a shift. People who worked with her were worried when she did not show up to work on February 23, 2013. Kira did not answer her calls or texts when they tried to get in touch with her, so they quickly told the cops that she was missing. What happened next will give you goosebumps. Hi, and welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, please consider subscribing, as it helps us motivate to create more intriguing content for you. Let's have a look at the most disturbing case of Kira Steger. It should be. She was born on November 19, 1982, in Des Plaines, Illinois. Des Plaines has a rich history, dating back to the early 19th century. It was initially settled in the 1830s and became an important transportation hub with the arrival of the Galena and Chicago Union Railroad in the 1850s. Des Plaines had a population of around 58,000 residents. It is one of the larger suburbs in the Chicago metropolitan area. The city's location near O'Hare International Airport and major highways, including Interstate 90 and Interstate 294, makes it a convenient place for commuters and travelers. It is also served by the Metra commuter rail system. Des Plaines has a diverse economy, with a mix of industries, retail centers, and businesses. The presence of O'Hare Airport has also influenced the local economy. The city offers various recreational opportunities. It has numerous parks, including the scenic lake Opeka, where residents and visitors can enjoy outdoor activities like fishing, picnicking, and walking. There are also golf courses and community centers. Des Plaines is home to Rivers Casino, which is one of the largest casinos in Illinois. It offers a range of gaming options, restaurants, and entertainment. The city has a number of public and private schools, serving the educational needs of its residents. It is also in proximity to several universities and colleges in the Chicago area. Des Plaines has a diverse and vibrant cultural scene. It hosts various events, including festivals, art exhibitions, and music performances, which contribute to the cultural richness of the community. The city has a strong sense of community, with various local organizations and community groups that engage in activities and events to enhance the quality of life for its residents. Kira Steger was the daughter of Marcy and Jay Steger, who said she was fun, kind, and committed. A while back, Kira had jobs at the Mall of America. People she worked with were not only good friends, but Kira also thought of them as family. Kira had a special skill for seeing people's strengths that they themselves did not see. There were plans and hopes for a bright and peaceful future for her. Kira mysteriously disappeared on Thursday, February 21st, 2013. That day, Kira had a shift at work. People who worked with her said she was feeling good and that she and her husband were going to a nice restaurant after work. It has been 3 years since Kira and Jeffrey Trevino met. They quickly hit it off and began dating, which led to a wedding. Kira and Jeffrey seemed to be a happy and healthy married couple most of the time. They might have had some differences, but they only told those close to them about them. Family, friends, and co-workers did not know about them. People at Kira's job were worried when she did not show up for work on Saturday, February 23rd, 2 days later. She was strict with herself and others, never let anyone be late, and stuck to her plan. Her colleagues tried to call Kira, but could not reach her. They then called Jeffrey, but he did not know where his wife had gone. Jeff said that Kira had left the house the morning before and had not been back since. He was not too worried about it because Kira would sometimes disappear for a day or two. She would sneak over to a friend's or family member's house and spend the night there. The weather was bad at that day. Jeffrey said it is possible that something bad could have happened to her on the way. It is possible that her car got stuck and her cell phone battery died. Since Jeffrey had not heard from his wife that day, he made a missing persons report and called Kira's family. She mysteriously disappeared, which shocked and hurt her family members. When police got a report that Kira Steger was missing, they got right to work. The investigation began by questioning the partner and looking around the area. This was no different. Investigators went to Jeffrey's house to talk to him. Jeffrey told the police that he and Kira wanted to spend time together on Thursday. After dinner, they talked, played bowling, and finally left the mall. From what Jeffrey said, He and Kira went home right away because Kira wanted to watch a movie. Stephen also told the police that his wife left their home around 8:30 a.m. Her attendance was needed at a work event. That is how she always acts, and he did not notice anything odd about her. Jeffrey did not think it was strange that Kira would sometimes leave, but he had no idea where she was or who she was watching TV with. Jeffrey said that their relationship had been a mess for a few months. He did not think it was serious or scary because he thought it was just a normal family fight. The police started to question Jeffrey about where Kira might be staying and if she had a boyfriend. The man turned down this idea because he had already asked Kira about it and gotten a negative answer. Jeff says that he loves and trusts his wife a lot. What the agents learned about Kira and her car, they shared with the patrols who were on duty. The detectives actually went to the Mall of America to make sure Jeffrey was telling the truth and maybe find some hints. One of the biggest shopping malls in the world is Mall of America. It is in the city of Bloomington. There are 520 stores, theme parks, an aquarium, movie houses, a golf course, and a lot more there. That is why it is not a surprise that the mall has a lot of security cams. Since the police knew what time Kira had left work on February 21st, they looked into that time. The footage did not show anything strange. Jeff said that he did meet Kira after work, and they hung out at the mall for a while. Then they drove off in the parking lot. There were not any fights, and everything seemed to go well that night. Kira's family went to Bloomington to try to help with the investigation because they had not heard from her in a while and were tired of waiting. They made flyers with pictures of her on them and put them up on poles and gave them to people walking by on the street. Their goal was to get as many people as possible interested in the search for Kira. They knew they could not just watch. They had to do everything they could to find their family member. The police kept looking into things while Kira's family handed out handouts. While talking to the couple's neighbors, police noticed that one of them had a security camera on their house. The camera turned to the side and captured Kira and Jeffrey's house from that angle. So the police asked the house to make a copy of the camera footage for them because they think it could help them find some clues. In the meantime, records from a cell phone company came in and gave police a new lead. The call logs for Kira show that she was seeing someone else besides Jeffrey. Ryan Wen turned out to be him. He was the boss of the same store chain where she worked. They were in a very serious relationship for a long time and wrote to each other a lot. The police knew Ryan had left the state, and while they were looking for Kira, Ryan was driving towards Colorado in his car. One of the most important things about this guy to the investigation was that he was dating Kira and had moved out of state at the same time she went missing. Or maybe it was just a chance and nothing else. Or maybe things were totally different and his escape hides something. The detectives would have to figure that out. In any case, the police managed to contact Ryan, and he agreed to be interviewed in Colorado. He was there and asked a lot of questions. He told her that the last time he talked to her was while driving his car across South Dakota and sending her texts. Sending these texts not long before Kira went missing. Detectives looked at the times of the texts and found that Kira had been talking to her new boyfriend while she was eating with her husband. Everything in the letters made it very clear that Kira was growing farther away from Jeffrey. Investigators looked at Ryan's credit card records and his phone to figure out where he was in relation to the cell towers. In that particular evening, he seemed to be out of state and had nothing to do with Kira going missing. Because of this, he was freed and taken off the list of suspects. It was clear from the timestamps that Kira was still chatting with Ryan after she got home with her husband. However, they stopped talking after 11:44 p.m., and Kira's phone has not worked since then. At the same time, a different group of agents was getting ready to look at the video from the camera that was at Kira's neighbor's house. This camera caught a lot of the street by moving from left to right. However, it was turning way too fast, which made it hard to observe because the camera would quickly turn to the other side if the detective saw something suspicious. As the camera moved to the right, we could only see Jeffrey and Kira's house for a short time. Jeffrey said that he and Kira went home, watched a movie, and went to bed after dinner and bowling. But when the police looked at the video, they saw that Kira's car turned around and drove into the yard just after 2 a.m. The video quality was bad. and the camera kept moving from side to side, making it hard to see what was happening on the screen at that moment. The car soon drove away from their house, though. Jeffrey thought that Kira had told him to put gas in her car before she had to go to work tomorrow, which is why they drove at night. It was a surprise that his story was true. His real appearance was at the gas station around 2:30 in the morning, but the police found that he did not go back home after leaving the gas station. Instead, he went towards the highway for some reason. It is not clear where he went next. The neighbor's camera did not catch him coming home, but since it was always turning, it could have just been an accident. Since the camera was pointing the wrong way, Jeffrey might have gotten home later that same day. As the police looked more closely at the video, they saw that Kira's Chevrolet drove off at 9:21 a.m. It was a shame that you could not see who was driving. On Saturday, February 23rd, a report of a missing person was made to the police. On Monday, February 25th, the police were called to say that a suspicious car had been found near the shopping center where Kira worked. There are 2 parking lots with more than 1 floor. Somebody had been parking that car there for several days, so security guards called a tow truck. Before picking up the car, the tow truck driver looked it over and saw red marks on the trunk lid that did not look right. Then they called the police. It turned out that car was Kira's white Chevy. There were only a few small spots of blood, but the fact that it was there was a very bad sign. There were divorce court forms in Kira's bag that looked like they were downloaded from the internet. They were found in her dumped car. They also looked at a small dark object that was lying in the snow behind the car. Before they got too close, they saw a rolled-up trunk mat with dark spots on the back. DNA test showed that the blood was from Kira Steger. The detectives started to feel sad as they realized that Kira probably was not alive anymore. The horrible news shocked her family and friends very much. They had lost their last chance to see Kira again. But this made them think of a lot of things. How did she pass away? Did she go through pain? Who could have hated her so much that they would have killed her? The fact that Kira's body was not there made things worse because it was harder to deal with the sadness that had hit them without it. The detective's main goal was to find the person who left the car in the parking lot. At 9:21 a.m., the car drove away from the house. About 20 minutes later, cameras in the mall caught it on film. The lot where the car was found did not have any cameras pointed at it, but there was one pointed at the path that went to it. It was near where Kira's car was that the camera was. The officers looked at the video from that camera and saw that a man with a hood over his head showed up in the video a few minutes after the white Chevrolet pulled into the parking lot. The man's coat did not seem out of place since it was pretty cold, but the police wanted to find out where he was going. People saw the man in the hood cross the street and walk to a cab stand, where he talked to one of the drivers for a short time. After that, he got in his car and drove off. The taxis parked in the shopping center parking lot owned a certain company, which the cops were able to figure out. The cops were able to easily figure out the license plate number of that car by looking at the time the man in the hoodie talked to the driver. All of the taxis had GPS tracking devices that showed the man in the hood finished his trip about a block from Kira and Jeffrey's house and got out of the car. That same camera that had partly filmed Kira and Jeffrey's house caught the cab as it drove out of the neighborhood. After 2 minutes, a man in a hat came into the picture. It was hard to see his face because the video was not very clear, but the white logo on his hoodie stood out. As the police watched the video more, they saw the man in the hood walk into the house where Kira and Jeffrey lived. Since Kira had been missing, it was almost certain that the guy in the hood was Jeffrey. Law enforcement officers went to the house after getting a search order. At first glance, it seemed like any other house, but that was just the first impression. When the police looked more closely, they saw dark red stains in the bedrooms of the wives. A few stains were on the wall next to the bed, and there were about 100 on the cushion. The bedroom looked like it had just been rearranged and cleaned. The floor rugs almost seemed to glow when the forensics team sprayed luminol on it. There were many red spots on it that you could not see with the naked eye. The spots started in the bedroom and spread to the other side of the house. Forensics proved that it was Kira's blood, which made police even sure that she was dead. The cops searched both the inside of the house and Jeffrey's car. Not only was there no blood in the car, but there were also no signs of a fight. They were able to find something interesting. They found a gas ticket from an hour and 40 minutes ago in Jeffrey's car. Kira's car had been left in the mall parking lot. The information on the ticket shows that Jeffrey's card was used to pay for the item. Detectives went to that gas station to look at the surveillance video. The video showed Jeffrey filling up his car with gas, then going inside to get cash. This video showed a bit of Jeffrey's face, and the fact that his jacket had a logo on the chest that looked like the logo on the man in the first video. The recording and other evidence found in the house led to the arrest of 39-year-old Jeffrey Trevino. He was held at the station to be questioned and was now the only person who could have done it. Jeffrey called his lawyer right away from the interrogation room. His lawyer told him to use his right to stay silent. The cops had enough proof to charge him, but the body would be the most convincing proof that he was guilty. There was no question that Kira was dead. Together with Kira's family and some volunteers, the cops looked for her for months. Volunteers found a strange bag by the roadside at Keller Lake, a few miles from Trevino's house, in late March as the snow started to melt. They called the cops. A bloody pillow, a shirt, and a bra were in the bag. Forensics found Kira's DNA on the things, which led them to believe they belonged to her. There was still a lot of ice on the lake, which made it harder to search, but divers were still looking around. About 2.5 months after Kira went missing, on May 8, 2013, the St. Paul cops got a scary call. Someone on the other end of the line said that he saw what looked like a dead body in the Mississippi River. The thing that cops pulled out of the water turned out to be a body. It had no clothes on. It was Kira Steger's body. She sustained serious blunt force injuries to the forehead and broke her left index finger. The level of decomposition made it impossible for the medical experts to find the exact cause of death. With the new information, authorities tried to put together a timeline of what happened before and after Kira's death. They thought that she might have told him or seen that she was texting someone else when she and Jeffrey got home. Kira did not want to show her husband the letter, so he grabbed her phone and broke her finger. After seeing the love letters, Jeffrey became even angrier. He killed Kira in a fit of rage and then tried to hide proof of the crime. To get to the house, he used her car and put the body in the trunk. He then drove to a gas station and dumped the body in a river. After that, he drove back home and dumped the bag with Kira's pillow and clothes along the way. The next morning, he went to a gas station and used an ATM to get cash. He knew that he would need to pay for a taxi after leaving Kira's car in the mall's parking lot, and cash would be best. Jeffrey took Kira's car to the dump and then cleaned the house for the rest of the day. By pulling this trick, Jeffrey hoped to give the idea that Kira had driven off in her car by herself that morning and was fine. But his plan did not work because of the surveillance cams. The jurors that found Jeffrey Trevino guilty in October 2013 agreed with the defense that he did not plan to commit the crime and that it happened because of a sudden and heated argument after he found out that his wife had been cheating on him. Kira's family members made comments before the judge delivered the sentence. Kira's sister, Carrie Ann Steger, stated that the individual in question was a planned criminal. Kira's mother expressed that he should receive no mercy and mentioned that he hadn't shown any to her daughter. She further stated that he had disposed of her daughter like refuse in a severely polluted body of water. In addition, her father commented that regardless of the punishment, it would never compensate for the pain caused by Trevino and emphasized that no amount of time given to Mr. Trevino would ever suffice. Jeffrey Trevino got 27.5 years in prison in November 2013. In 2031, he will be able to get freedom. Let us know your thoughts about this case in the comments section. Thanks for watching.